Afternoon. Welcome to another session Cooking with Steve. My name is Steve Wojtowicz from Food for Any Occasion. We named our company such so that we wouldn't get pigeonholed into any one style of cooking. We've done everything from a romantic dinner for two at home by candlelight to pig roast for 500 in a big park and anything in between. So today we're going to be doing three recipes. First of which is a chocolate hazelnut crisp, and you have the recipes in front of you. See that we're going to need an 8x8 pan lined with plastic, enough so that it can go over top. We need a microwave-safe bowl and a spatula, and then all the ingredients. The hazelnut spread, which, again, I pick things so that people can basically get them in their grocery store. I don't want to pick things that you have to travel all over creation in order to find. So, we're using Nutella, which has got chocolate in it as well, but it does have that hazelnut flavor. Milk chocolate chips. We have a total of a cup and a quarter of hazelnuts. Those that I'm saving to use as garnish, I left as the regular chop that you get when you buy them right from the store. And then those that are going to get mixed into the dish, you can see I have a finer chop. And then of course we have, since I already used the brand name there, we have 3 cups of Rice Krispies, or when you write it up, crispy rice cereal. And that's that. Very simple dish, very simple assembly. One thing you have to use is the microwave. One piece of equipment you have to use is the microwave. And because we are missing the carousel, what your instructions say are to do it a minute first and then 30 seconds. Well, I'm going to do it in 30-second intervals because all of the microwaves are going to be passing from one side of the machine to the other, which is why you have a carousel, so that it gets all of them. Well, it's all going to be hitting one side, so we need to rotate it more frequently. Many of the cheaper models, as well as the older models, don't have a rotating carousel, and you have to be careful of that. Now, one of the cooking tips that I have spoken about before, that's one 12-ounce package of milk chocolate chips. You have that. I don't have to give you those because they're in there. One of the tips I told you about before, anytime you have anything sticky, okay, spray it with cooking spray before you put it in. Well, I forgot the cooking spray today. This is live, by the way, so things like that happen. So I'm going to use our spatula to get this as clean as possible. Get all of it out. Now, this recipe you can substitute any kind of butter, peanut butter, hazelnut butter, if there's almond butter, or you can combine them. Use almonds instead of the chopped hazelnuts with the Nutella. Anything you want. Whatever your imagination comes up with is where your limitations are. Alright, so we've combined the chips and the hazelnut spread. There is no, you must have gotten it broken because there was one here before. Alright, so we're going to do I've got it pushed at 1 minute, but I'm going to pull it at 30 seconds because all those waves are passing over from the one side. The idea is to get these as smooth as you can with all the chips melted. And then at that point, when it's that consistency, you don't want to necessarily get heated anymore. That's when we add the things that we have to add to finish the dish. Alright, there's 30 seconds. So I'm going to take it out. Be careful. The microwave won't heat the bowl, but the microwave will heat what's in the bowl, which will then heat the bowl. So you always have to be careful not to, you have to check it before you grab it out of there without using any protection. All right, another 30 seconds. These things, once you get done this part, which is practically the longest part, you're going to refrigerate them. You don't want to refrigerate them forever. You just want to get it to where the chocolate is set. It's much easier to cut it when it's actually almost room temperature. Because if you're cutting it into the smaller parts while it's cold, it'll crack. Because the consistency is not dense chocolate. It's got the Rice Krispies, which is full of a lot of air. So because of that, it's going to be a lot much more brittle. I don't know what other kind of, other than peanut butter, I don't know what other kind of nut butters are made. Apple butter, but I wouldn't use that for this. It's not the same kind of thing. A nut butter. I've never seen pecan butter. I don't know.
Almond butter.
Almond butter? They make almond butter?
Trader Joe's is cookie butter. I don't know what that is.
Okay. I just have never had the opportunity or need to use anything else. And actually, I didn't know about Nutella until my daughter was living over in Europe, and it's all over the place over there. So she used it regularly and would tell me about it, and then I finally found some recipes to use it in. She makes peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with Nutella and jelly. This is going to be hot. It was getting there before. How are you? All right, looks like we're done. Just making sure that I'm scraping down the sides. And again, the most important thing at this point in time is to make sure all of the chips have melted, because the heating and the cooking, there is no cooking, just the heating, the melting of the chips is done if all of the chips are finished. Now, there's a couple of chips left over. Is that going to be a big problem? No, because when it all solidifies again, becomes hard again, okay, in go the chopped chips, the minced chopped chips or nuts. Make sure they're good and mixed in. And with that, we don't have to be careful. We just have to stir it in. Now, when we pour these in, we have to fold. The action of folding, scraping down the outside, pulling up from the middle, because we don't want to crush the crispy rice syrup. I'm going to pull up from the bottom, rotating the bowl, folding it in until all of the cereal has been mixed in well with the chocolate. Again, we're making sure to do it carefully, but pulling it up from the bottom, because that's where all the remaining loose chocolate is going to be. The chocolate and the Nutella. All right, looks like we're good. Pan here. Turn it out into that pan. Get all of the wonderful chocolatey, hazelnutty goodness. You don't have to worry that the plastic is form-fitting, because this is going to go where you push it with your spatula. And then once you cut it, any imperfections in the high and low areas of the pan are going to pretty much be lost when they get cut into little pieces. But try to get it as even as you can. You know, when you pour batter into a pan and have to bake it, there's an issue there because you want to make sure that something doesn't cook more quickly than another side. But with this, it's just merely a matter of once you cut it, or do the pieces look uniform. All right. Now I'm going to sprinkle the larger chopped nuts over the top. Making sure it's nice and even. And then instead of using the spatula, I'm going to actually use my hand to press them down so that when we take it out of the fridge, hopefully they have been pushed in and will adhere and be connected with the chocolate instead of once you cut them and put them on a dish that they all fall apart or all fall off. So I'm going to try and press them in to the top layer of the chocolate and cereal mixture. Now some of them are invariably going to fall off. You can't save them all. So don't worry about each and every one. So now I'm going to be putting them in the fridge. Fold over the plastic that was hung over the side. And if you have this in the fridge for any more than your normal, or than what the recipe says, 15 to 20 minutes, if you have it in there any longer than that, you want to make sure it comes to room temperature before you cut it, because you can store these at room temperature. They don't have to be kept in the fridge, as long as they're covered. If you store them in the refrigerator, which you can do that also, make sure they are sealed tightly because you don't want it picking up flavors from other things that might be in the fridge. And we'll be back to serve them after they have set. Now on to the next dish.